So hello. So we are now on our lesson number 2. So writing equations in standard form and identifying the values of A, B, and C. So we have 7 examples here. Okay, so number 1, 3x minus 2x squared equals to 7. So as you can see, this is not written in standard form. So we need to simplify and arrange our terms in descending power of variables. So we will reorder the 3x and the negative 2x squared. So we will start with the negative 2x squared plus your 3x equal to 7, and we will apply the addition and subtraction property of equality. So we will subtract same number of value to both sides of the equations. So since the right side of our equation is 7, so we will subtract 7 to both sides to make the right side of the equation equals to 0. So we're writing, so equals to 7. So we will subtract 7. So masubtract man kita dari 7. So this one will be equal to 0. So you have your equation 2x squared plus 3x minus 7 equals to 0. So you have already your standard form. So all you need to do now is to find the value and identify the values of your A, your B, and your C. So in here, our A is the quadratic term or the coefficient of our quadratic term x squared, which is negative 2. And our B is the coefficient of our variable on the linear term, so positive 3. And your constant is negative 7. And number 2, we have another example. 5 minus 2x squared equals to 6x. So your linear term is on the right side. Okay, so same procedure. So number 1, so we will arrange the descending power of the variables. But here, so we have 2x, negative 2x squared, and your plus 5. So equals 6x. And apply the subtraction and addition property of equality. So for the both sides of the equations, so 6x minus 6x. So since we might subtract 6x on the right side, so we will subtract 6x here on the left side. So you have 2 negative 2x squared plus 5 minus 6x equals to 0. So this is not yet your standard form, since this is not arranged in ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0 form. So we will just, arrange it. So negative 2x squared minus 6x plus 5 equals to 0. So this is your standard form for example number 2. And we will identify now the values of your A, B, and C. So your A here is negative 2, your B is negative 6, and your C is positive 5. So you have your answer. Okay, so we have another example, number 3. So we have the binomials here. So we will use the FOIL method. So multiplication or multiplying the first term, outside, inside, and the last term. So here, x times x is x squared. X times your positive 4 is positive 4x. Positive 3 times x is positive 3x. Positive 3 times positive 4 is positive 12, so equals to 0. So as you can see, you have two like terms here. So we will just do the operation, or so since parehas sila sign, so 4x plus 3x is 7x. Plus 12 equals to 0. So you have now your standard form. So we need to see or to get the values of your A, B, and C. So since the coefficient of the x squared or the quadratic term is 1, so our A is 1, and for our B is 7, and your C is 12. So that's it for your number 3. So another example, number 4. So we will apply the distributive property of multiplication. So we will multiply 2x to x. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. So equal to 15. So this is not yet standard form, since we will apply the next step, subtraction and addition property of equality, to make the right side of the equation equal to 0. So 2x squared minus 6x, so equals to 15 minus 15, so minus 15. This one is 0. So you have now 2x squared minus 6x minus 15 equals to 0. So this is your standard form for example number 4. So what are your B's, A, B, and C? So your A is 2, your B is negative 6, and your C is negative 15. That's example number 4. And another example, number 5. So we are dealing here the square of binomial. So this is the square of the, you will get the answer for the square of binomial. For this is the sum of the square of the first term, twice the product of the two terms, and the square of the last term. So in this binomial, your first term is x, and your second term is 4. Okay, so first, what is the square of the first term? So x squared. What is the twice the product of the first and your second term? So negative 4 times x times 2 is negative 8x. And what is the square of your last term? So the square of your last term is negative 4 times negative 4 is, so 16. And we will we will write that equation or your equation in descending power. So remember that you still have positive 8 here, or plus 8. And apply your combined like terms. So our like terms there are constant, 16 and 8. So 16 plus 8 is 24, so equal to 0. So you have your standard form now. So what are your A, B, and C? Your A is 1, your B is negative 8, and your C is 24. So another example, another solution, or another answer, number 5. For our number 6, so we have described the binomial and the combination of the distributive property of multiplication. So we'll apply both the process. So x squared is the product of the two terms plus 4x plus the square of the last term, 4. And here, 3 times x is 3x. 3 times positive 2 is positive 6. And we will combine like terms, apply the subtraction property of equality to make the right side of the equation 0. So x squared plus 4. So minus 3x minus 6 equals 0. And since we have like terms, this one, so we will combine it. So positive 4x minus 3x is positive 1x. So we are not writing 1. So consider na siya may 1. Positive 4 minus 6 is negative 2 equal to 0. So you have your standard form now. So what are your A, 1, B is 1, and your C is negative 2. Okay, so that is our answer. For our last example, number 7, so we will apply the FOIL method. So we have x times x squared. X times negative 7 is negative 7x. And then positive 7 times x is positive 7x. So positive 7 times negative 7 is negative 49 equal to negative 3x. So as you can see, we have like terms already. So this is equal to 0. So we will rewrite the equation. Okay, and apply the subtraction addition property of equality. So x squared minus 49 plus 3x equals to 0. So this is not yet your standard form. So we will arrange the terms into standard. Okay, so now what are the values of your A, B, and C? So A is 1, B is 3, and C is negative 49. So that's it. So these are your examples in writing equations in standard form and identifying the values of A, B, and C. Okay, so for our next lesson, we will deal with the solving of quadratic equation by extracting the square roots.